All right, so our first presenter is an editor of I Love Bad Movies, the organizer of the Brooklyn Zine Fest, and co-host of the Bad Movie screening series at 92Y Tribeca. He once ate a tuna fish donut and does not regret it. Matt Carman.
I do kind of regret it. I would not eat a tuna fish donut again, I'm sorry. How many people here are familiar with the Shades of Love? Really? Wow, that's fantastic. Oh, is it only because I talked about it previously? Oh, okay, all right. So for anyone who doesn't know, that's weird that you don't know because it's the greatest Canadian-produced, late 80s, straight-to-VHS romance novel adaptation series, primarily sold in supermarkets. You'll see there's kind of a running theme among all the movies. Very white, very hetero, very Canadian. There are 16 in all. Here's a sort of color wheel representing all of them. I do own all 16. We own all 16. And we have seen all of them. So I want to go through sort of the elements of the series and then talk about the food in this series. As you can see, food is sort of a key to romance and sort of a relationship starter and enlivener. But first, what are some of the elements? You've got an actor who's semi-famous, a man who was maybe on TV at the time in the late 80s, someone like a Dak Rambo, someone like Parker Stevenson, who's most famous for the Hardy Boys, maybe most famous for, as Kirstie Alley told everyone, having a large penis, so that's great. Simon McCorkindale, Rex Smith, people who were famous once. The women, the actresses, are kind of unknowns. They are pretty, but not gorgeous. You know, they're relatable. They're in their mid-30s. They're someone the viewer can kind of project onto a little bit. They've got good fashion sense, for one. So the character is a busy woman. She's always working. You know, she's got a career in mind. She doesn't have time for a relationship. She's climbing the corporate ladder. She's got goals. She's got maybe even 2 telephones at a time. And into her life comes the blurry man. That's what I like to call him. In this case, he literally washes up on shore with no memory of who he is or where he's come from. So she can make him whatever she wants, and she does. He's kind of vaguely defined, and I think that's so that the woman watching it, or whoever watching it, can sort of turn him into whatever she wants. They often have creative jobs like musicians or writers, so they have a lot of free time to dote on the woman. But there's always an obstacle between them. Maybe it's work, maybe it's a creepy ex-beau. Maybe it's a current man who's just not Mr. Right and is holding her back from her dreams. And eventually he helps her get over that obstacle. He becomes part of her life, cheering her on at her fashion show, collaborating with her. This is Ballerina and the Blues. They come up with some sort of ballerina blues fusion, like Ballusion or Bluerina. I don't know. It's not good, but they're working together. And what I really like is that instead of the woman changing for the man, as you see in Grease, the man actually changes for the woman, as we see in the far superior Grease 2. There it is. So there's seduction leading up to this relationship, and the seduction often involves putting food or liquid in front of the woman's face, sometimes even fully submerging her into a liquid. And this, of course, leads to the making of love. There is a sex scene in every Shades of Love movie. I see this as a reward for the boyfriend or husband who had to sit through this crap. So gentlemen, you know, don't protest if your lady wants to watch one. Sometimes they're pretty good. One more thing, it's always winter. One reason may be that it's, you know, it's Canada. I think it's always winter there. But it's also the season when you just want to sort of curl up with someone you love and eat a bunch of cheese, you know? So, food is central to the Shades of Love. Food is treated as something natural. The man generally wants the woman to eat, not in like a fetishistic way, just like he wants her to be happy and healthy, and it's genuine. Food is used as flirtation.
You've got cheese on your lip.
I like it there. I like that there too.
She could have gravy dripping down her face and he wouldn't care. In fact, he might prefer it. So food is not just leading up to sex, it's part of sex. You can't really tell, but this is not a bowl of popcorn, it's a garbage bag filled with popcorn that he brought over. This is the middle of a 3-minute sex scene. They've taken a break to eat a garbage bag full of popcorn, and then they go back and have more hot sex. We've all been there.
Well, you could use a roommate.
Even when they're not having sex, she eats voraciously.
Not domestically, you know.
Is this some sort of comment on my housekeeping?
Listen, I'm only going to be in town for 3 months, as long as I ever stay anywhere. And I'm used to it here, and Walter's used to it here. It seems silly to look
You
for
may as well
someone.
not even be there.
Plus, you know, I'm handy to have around. I cook.
Vincent, I live alone for a reason.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, for several reasons, as a matter of fact.
Food can be a source of stress when it's experienced with the wrong person, say your current partner who's your partner in a restaurant as well, but it can be wonderful and relaxing when experienced with the right person, especially when that person has a big penis. And you can see there's 2 teacups here, but it's not really breakfast for him. He's doting on her, it's her breakfast, he's watching her eat and enjoying her eating, and it's very nice. Food can be a luxury, especially if it's caviar in the back of a Rolls Royce. It can be the sort of thing that lifts your spirits to sort of like a drug-induced state. Food is not just shared between lovers, it's shared between friends, not just mid-coitus, but also mid-kitchen, and if it's a brand name, even better. Food it's eaten very freely, and the woman is free to eat, and so she's also free to open up to the man about her feelings and her goals.
You know, you don't have to actually use the hashi. You can just use your fingers. It's just fast food in Japan, isn't it? What about? Should have made some kind of choice.
No, I think women have to make choices.
I think everybody has to make choices.
And I did.
Well, what kind of choices did you make?
Career. All the way.
Aww. Food is something to be enjoyed, it's something to be savored, and not something to feel ashamed of. But conversely, you don't have to know a lot about food to be a woman in the Shades of Love series. You don't necessarily have to know what kinds of wine are red and what kinds of wine are the other color. You don't have to know which fork goes with which hand. The man will respect you and want to feed you and love you forever anyway.
Perhaps you'd like to start with the frogs and eggs? Or maybe l'escargot? That's snails.
Oh, really?
Oh, do you prefer red wine or white?
Oh, I don't usually get to choose.
How about a velvety petit syrah? It's aged in Yugoslavian wood, so it's wonderfully smoky.
Do we drink it or eat it?
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I feel like you've shared too many of our relationship secrets in this presentation.